Hello, good morning. Welcome back to the Power of Storytelling at Spectrum, the Awareness Project with StoryAunty Neena, and we have a special guest today. So, December 31st, the last date of 2024, and we are happy to share the last story on our theme mental health and well-being. So, we have with us Mr. Subramaniam Annamalai, who has 18 years of experience in educational leadership, project management, property development, and business administration. And he's passionate about making education accessible to all and believes that learning is a lifelong commitment. Welcome and thank you, sir, for joining us uh, and being part of our storytelling squad, the first male member in our storytelling squad. And we hope you'll be inspiration to more dads and more men storytellers to join us. So, are you going to read out a story today for our audience?
Yes, I'm going to read out. Thank you for having me here. Neena ma'am, Dr. Shivali from the Spectrum Autism Project. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Your introduction is very heavy and also it's a huge responsibility. I think I'm the first male. So
Yeah,
I think I'm the filter test whether you're going to allow more people like
we will. Maybe
yes.
you are the stepping stone for many others to join us in the coming year, 2025. So, with this hope, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So can I present, can the screen be presented? I've prepared a presentation. So
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. One second, we'll share the screen.
So meanwhile, hello all. I'm going to read out a story uh, from a book. Okay, the book is called How Full is Your Bucket for Kids? Okay, How Full is Your Bucket for Kids? And the I think I've scanned the book. Yeah, you can present it.
It's been, you can see the screen, right? You
Yeah,
want to zoom
you
in?
can you present the screen? Can you
Yeah,
press
yeah.
F5?
We have the cover page, How Full is Your Bucket for Kids? So this is the title. Okay.
Can you put on full screen mode, please?
Yeah.
Just press F5. Yes.
Huh.
You need to enable some settings.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. You need to, yeah, now it's good. Yeah, correct. Okay. So this is a book from which I'm reading the story. It's about a story of a boy named Felix, and it's about how every moment matters. It's a story about encouraging others and kindness, and the theme is about paying it forward. Okay, and the author goes about by there are two authors, Tom Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer. And this book is illustrated by Maury J. Manning. So thank you to them for this beautiful story. It was a New York Times bestseller in 2006. And the story is about a boy named Felix. And it says that what if everyone had an invisible bucket? Okay, and that's how this story goes. So if we start with, there is a Felix and a sister playing. The Felix is building blocks. They have a pet dog, and his sister is coming in and saying, Felix, asking Felix that she also wants to build. She says, "I want to build with you, Felix," and he scowls. "Go away, you're too little." That's what siblings always, they fight with each other. They don't. The elder one doesn't allow the little one to spoil his hard work. And then the sister, fights. "I'm big, I can, And the boy says, "Stay back, you'll knock it over." He's trying to save his creation, And then I can be very careful, go play with your baby toys, Anna. So sister's name is Anna. And now Anna's very angry. She hates Felix for being this very bad brother. She's imagining already. She's very angry. She's imagining how to fight with Felix. And immediately, what does she do? She takes a doll and she whacks Felix's building. And all the blocks fly away. And he's shocked. And immediately he shouts. He's so angry. He shouts, "Grandpa!" So we can see his granddad is there also in the house. And the granddad says, "Felix, Grandpa just shakes his head and he's like, "Oh my God, look at this. These both are fighting again." And he says, "Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket." Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket? And invisible bucket, Felix says. And he's wondering what is Grandpa talking about. As usual, he's going on with his own, theories, advice, and he's imagining a bucket above him, and he says sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather is joking. That's true. When our grandparents speak, we don't take them seriously. We think, they are saying something, it's beyond our understanding. And the next day, Felix wakes up, and there it is, what grandfather said. There's a small gray bucket floating above his head, and his dog is watching. And dog also sees the bucket, and Felix is wondering, what is this on my head? Suddenly there's a bucket like what grandpa said. So when Felix comes down for breakfast, his mom is already in a hurry. He's already late. His mom is in a hurry to go to office, and she's like, "I've got a meeting in the morning, and it's almost time to go." Anna, and she's preparing Anna, his sister, also to school. And she says, "Anna, sit still. This is what happens in school days, when the parent also has to go to work, and we are late for breakfast to the table. The mother has got the responsibility of preparing the breakfast, fixing breakfast, and then preparing the children to go to school, combing the child's hair, everything." And Felix is attempting to take his favorite food from the cupboard, the cornflakes. Okay, and he's trying in the overhead counter. And what happens next? Felix slips and he spills the chocos, and it scatters all around the floor. And Felix yells, and his mom yells, "Felix, you should have used the stool to reach that." And this is what happens. And what happens? Immediately, his dog, we saw the dog, right? The pet dog, Buster, his name is. What does he do? He's trying to take off some food from the spilled chocos, and Felix could feel his bucket tip, and big invisible drip spills out. And there's some water spilling out of his is an imaginary bucket, and it says drip, drip. Aha! Anna is very happy now. Now Felix is getting it. So she says, "Aha!" Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with a shoe. So she storms it and makes the situation even worse, like what siblings do. And again, more water spills out of the bucket, and mom says, "Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus." Mom is instructing Felix, you do the cleaning. What you spill, you should only clean. And with the school bus honking, and already the bus is outside the house and it's honking, and Felix quickly swept up the choco wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, what happens? Buster jumps up and grabs the muffin from his hand. Buster also wants a snack. He's also as naughty as the kids, and he wants his muffin, and he pulls it off from Felix's hand. And again, now Felix is now like, "Oh, Buster, you have taken off my breakfast types," and more water spills out of his bucket. And then when he boards the bus, there are other kids teasing him. Okay, there are bullies, and Felix's seniors. They're saying, "Hey, look, Felix. Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like it." And he's ridiculing Felix for having this cartoon character that only kids watch those cartoons. And he's like, "You're a small baby or what? You're having all these cartoon characters on your school bag." And then what happens? He's reached school, and he's like, he feels already, he feels like as if the other children are talking about him. Actually, it's not the case when people are talking. He's got this now. Got kind of his bucket is almost empty, and he's feeling like as though they are talking about him only. He's got a guilty conscience. He's got a self inferiority complex. He starts feeling like people are talking about him. Okay, which may not be the case actually. And then there is another big guy in the class. He says when he's walking the corridor, he bumps into Felix and he says, "Watch out, shrimp!" Calling him a small guy, again making Felix feel bad that he's tiny and he's not able to put up to all these bullies in school. And then what happens? He's in the corridor, and there's a lot of crowd and noise, and he's feeling grumpy. And the ma'am calls him into the classroom, and you can see that you can see that he's already very angry and grumpy with himself, and he's in no mood to attend class, and he's distracted, and he's not happy while all the others are all happy and walking around playing chit chatting, and but he's alone by himself. So he goes to his desk and he sits alone, feeling alone, and he's like he watches his classmates. He secretly hope that they will trip and fall. Now he starts hating. He wants bad things to happen to others. That's how grumpy he is. He's so angry that he wants to transfer that anger to someone else. Okay, and that's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. It's like you don't want to be the only one facing bad things. You want others also to have bad things, so that because that's how alone people feel when they are very angry, and when they are literally, the author says, when your bucket is empty. So Felix jumps, slumped into a seat, and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel, that's a teacher of Felix. She says, Mrs. Bumblenickel, watch. She goes slowly up to his desk and hands him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. Okay, he's like, what now? This teacher's coming to me. And she just says, Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class? And he sees the paper, and the teacher's given him an A plus for the essay he's written, for the story that he's written as an assignment. And then Felix grins, and he feels a big drop land right in the bucket. Now he suddenly feels better. He smiles, and he feels the bucket filling with a drop of water. And uh, the class group, he goes to the front of the class. He reads the story. The class grows quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped, even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. And then what happens? Again, when everybody's clapping, Felix feels like a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all, Felix feels. And then again, he's opening his lunchbox, and he sees a love you note from his mom, his favorite lunch. And he's like, he misses breakfast already, you remember. So he's got his favorite lunch now. And he's got this note from his mom, and he's feeling so happy that he has his mom to take care of him. And he's sharing that lunch with he's sharing the lunch space with his classmate, and he feels the bucket again filling up. And he goes to the playground, and there he's suddenly selected as a captain. The coach says team captains today are Veronica and Felix. So he is now captain of a team for the day for playing football. And again, he feels his bucket filling up. So then he goes to art class. After that, he's drawing something. The art teacher says nice cow, but Felix actually tried to draw a dog. He says it's a dog, but still the teacher didn't say, well, it doesn't look like a dog, it looks like a cow. He didn't discourage. What did he say? He said, well, nice colors there, Felix. So he encourages the attempt by Felix. And then what happens? He sees a classmate appreciating his bag, the same bag that someone teased him in the school bus. And he says, cool laser ant backpack, Felix. The classmate appreciates his bag, and he's proud that at least someone likes his bag, someone has a good taste for cartoons, and he's earned a new friend. And you can see his bucket filling up. And then he's going to the playground after that, and there he sees by afternoon his bucket's almost full. And at recess, what happens? At recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realized that his grandpa was right. Everyone else has a bucket too. So he sees everyone, and he sees everybody having a bucket on their head. He also imagines all of them having a bucket, and he's able to see other people's bucket. So and suddenly he sees someone dropping papers, his professor. uh, and the next slide now. Yeah. uh, and there is someone is already a teacher has dropped his papers from his books, and he's helping. The teacher's having a hard day. He can see his bucket empty, but he helps out. He says, let me help you. And he helps with the teacher picking up the papers. And the his bucket also fills, as well as you can see the teacher's bucket also. There's a drop in the teacher's bucket also. The teacher's bucket is now again, Felix is helping out, so he's also happy now. And then the next, he goes to the playground. The two boys are playing baseball, and he helps them picking the ball. And he says, here's your ball, baseball catch. And he helps so the guy playing baseball, and he says thanks. And that way his bucket also fills up, and the boy who's playing baseball, who had to uh, go run fetch the ball, he got some help, so his bucket also fills up. So the next, we see him, talking. He's now not grumpy. He's not an introvert. He's not an introvert mode. He sees a boy grumpy, and he goes there and he tries to make a conversation. He says, hi, I'm Felix. This is your first day. And that boy is already feeling alone. His bucket empty. He says, yes, I'm Amir. And he's feeling happy that someone came up to him and spoke to him. So he also gets a drop in his bucket. So what happens is, when Felix, he sees that, he realizes the strange thing is that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own bucket. So uh, the now Felix is like, realized, it's important that, we need this. He's realized what his grandfather said. The next one, man. Yeah. So he goes back home. He wants to tell his grandpa what happened. And he goes home and he says, he bursts into the door. He shouts, you were right, grandpa. I do have a bucket, and I understand how it works. He's understood the magic invisible bucket thing. So but when he goes inside, he sees Anna, who's still not even a preschooler. She's fighting with the dog, Buster. The Buster, the dog is, the pet dog is torn off Anna's doll, uh, and Anna's crying, and he almost scolded the dog. He said, bad dog. He was going to shout, but actually he did not. Okay. He thought maybe dogs also have invisible bucket. And you can see in the slide, the dog having an invisible bucket. And the dog is also very grumpy, sad, wondering, why the sister is shouting. And he says, your doll will be okay, Anna, said Felix. And mom will fix her. So he says, mom will fix it for you. Don't worry. And he says, until then, do you want to help me build the tallest building in the world with my blocks? And the both kids, they go to Felix's room, and they play the very building blocks that he did not allow his sister to build. He starts building with the sister. Both the sister and him build the tallest building. How kids love to build, and they did that. And then Felix begins to see. No, can you go back one? Felix begins to see how every interaction in a day either fills or empties his bucket. Felix then realizes that everything he says or does to other people fills or empties their buckets as well. Felix learns how easy it can be to fill the buckets of his classmates, teachers, and family members. Before the day is over, you are seeing how Felix learned to be a great bucket filler. Now we call them bucket fillers, where you make other people happy. You can call yourself a bucket filler. And in the process, discover that filling someone else's bucket also fills your own. So the moral of the story is, the next slide, ma'am. Moral of the story is that you need to understand your invisible emotional buckets, and that emotions can fill or empty your bucket as well as others. Because if you are grumpy and you want to pass on that anger to someone, it actually creates a negative cycle, a chain of events where, I think, but you have to break that chain. And so this book aims to teach children the value of filling your bucket, and that people should also value every moment, and some real life examples of that is some acts of kindness where you fill the buckets with positive energy daily. You can be a source of emotional support where you can provide comfort, helping others face challenges together as a team. And you can also give positive feedback to people to encourage and boost their morale and improve their spirits. Uh, so this invisible bucket theory is about emotional, talks about emotional health, like how Vani ma'am told in the previous story, in last week's story, where she beautifully narrated a story about her family having how emotional health is also very important as much as physical health. So here it says that emotional health matters. Healthy buckets lead to happiness, support, and connection. Strong connections fill your buckets positively. It makes you feel better and others better and the entire environment better for you to achieve and succeed. So the you exploring the invisible bucket concept together in a relationship is where you have to understand each other, find out what fills the other person's bucket, and you have to be vocal on telling others what actually fills your bucket, because they might not know what makes you happy. So you have to be vocal about it and say if something makes you feel bad, or so you should try to be communicative about it. And the in conclusion, I would like to say, what fills your bucket today will shape your tomorrow and determine your joy. So thank you,
Wonderful.
Tori. Thank you to Spectrum Autism Awareness Project for this storytelling session.
It was indeed a wonderful, Purnama says that she loved the illustrations and the story and she enjoyed it. And Cappy Venki says, well done, Subbu. And yes, of course, see, it was about wonderful. And it was about emotions, the bucket of emotions, right? And you have beautifully put down those points at the end of your PowerPoint presentation about how to express your emotion, share your concern with others, so the bucket is not visible, it is there on all of us, right? So within your time constraint and hectic schedule, you came forward and did this so well. I know how busy you were, and with all those constraints you have come up so well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For me,
So
this has been like a formative assessment. I think Uma made me read the story. It's like, for me also to realize the moral of the story, and
uh,
I should also concentrate on, bucket filling.
yeah. Actually, when you began the story, it was like a bucket, and then suddenly seeing his bucket empty, then drop, and then when again the pages turned, that is when we got to know that it's all about emotion, because he felt grumpy, and all of a sudden when he got hold of what you call the appreciation from his teacher for his writing, drawing, whatever it was, that made him active. So from grumpy, became active. So when we help others, our buckets also get filled, as well as we are able to, help them fill their buckets or reduce their stress, right?
It's a very
Empty.
small thing, it aligns with the theme of, how the community should support the caregivers and parents of people who are disabled. And it's this is a very small support, that a very small thing, but actually it's a very big support to everybody. If we have to, out of experience, I'm saying that we have to break the chain of negativity and we have to spread the happiness around. It
True.
really helps.
True.
It really helps people, because I've been on both sides of the bucket. I've been with the empty bucket. I try to fill the bucket, and it's really always better if you're, with a full bucket, a full bucket.
So profound, so I think let's all be the bucket fillers, right? As you said, bucket fillers.
Yeah.
And so happy to have you here, and a big thank you to Umayan for for being the reason, because you are here with us. And
Uh,
and we wish, yeah.
I would like to just say a note of thanks to Shiv Divan, my classmate who donated this book to, who gave me this book to to my kids, asking them to read it to me. And
Huh.
I thank Uma for choosing this book for this.
Wonderful. And
Yes.
we thank you for being, our on our platform at the power of storytelling with such a wonderful message and being the end of 2024. Let's all be the bucket fillers because we have moved a step forward. So we continue. We'll start again in the coming year, 2025, and would like to see you more with in our platform as a storyteller.
Did I
So thank
pass?
you. Huh?
Did I pass?
Yeah, of course, of course. See, it's
So
like
have I
everybody is
opened
a
the gates for
natural.
all the dads and male people to
Yes, male
okay,
storytellers. Yes,
hopefully,
of
yes.
course,
Okay.
of course. You
Good.
are past. It's not that you need to be a professional storyteller. It comes naturally within you, and you have done that. You've given full justice to what you've done with flying colors. Yes, as Shivani said,
Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2020.
happy, yeah, happy and
A
prosperous
lot
new
of full
year.
buckets to everybody. Yes.
Yes. With that, and let's not forget that next year we are going to start with our the ABCD card of inclusion series of stories, where we are looking forward to you joining us, selecting one of the alphabets.
Yes.
And for all our audience who are watching us, who have not yet grabbed their copies of ABCD of inclusion, please get your copies. And if you're interested to narrate a story picking up any of these alphabets, please join us and let's be the bucket fillers for many of that. Let's change the world with little bit of drops that we can contribute. So thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay tuned. So happy New Year to all of you.